we're on. Woohoo!
Whoa.
Where's
Hey.
Tom?
Hey, Tom.
Tom.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to show 700, 8th anniversary of Geocache Talk Network.
Woo. Is this both show 700 and the 8th anniversary at the same time?
Yeah.
That is too cool.
Talk about timing.
Yeah.
Timing's great. Yeah. And we're gonna get into when the first show was and all that good stuff. I've got some great videos to show and get y'all's feedback, and the most of the gang's here tonight, so we're gonna reminisce and toot our own horn. That's kind of tough to say.
That's easy
tonight.
For you to say.
So,
but we're gonna do it.
Oh, we got somebody else coming on. There's Charles. Charles,
There
good
he
to
is.
see you.
Hey, bud.
Look at that guy right there.
That guy right there.
That guy's the guy.
So tonight's giveaways, we have 8 of them. Actually, we have 9 because we're going to do one for the audio listeners as well. So if you would like to get in on that kind of action, you'll want to put into the chat room hashtag GTN, and that will get you a spot on the big wheel. And so that will that'll do. There you go. People are starting to jump on. That's perfect. Hashtag GTN. We've got coins to give away tonight. We've got a lot to deal with. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. We have just a slight bit of news. We're not going to go through all that because we have so much to talk about tonight about the 8th anniversary. So let me jump in, and we're in a different model. So hang on a second. I'm just going to do some stuff behind the scenes, so nobody say anything right now.
Look at all that stuff changing.
Nobody
Gary's setting up a new look for the next 8 years.
So let's do some quick news. So we wanted to talk briefly about Infernal Device that's going to be available, a special availability for those that come to Cache Fest. And we are needing a few volunteers to help out with parking. And yeah, Tom, Charles is pointing to Tom, by the way, for all our audio listeners.
I'll park your car. No telling where you'll find it when I'm done, but I'll park your car.
Never got my car back last time Tom parked it.
That's right.
Thanks, Tom. If you volunteer to help at Infernal Device, I have been authorized to show you a special coin that you can't get. I always love those, don't you? It's exclusive. You cannot purchase this coin. You cannot acquire this coin unless you help at Infernal Device. And here's the coin. It is a buzzsaw.
Love it.
What don't I know about this cache?
Yeah. It'll make sense
you
when you
do.
go through the cache.
Love it.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, John, we just had a meeting with Cache Fest Central folk, and they said that if people do not show up and volunteer to help an Infernal Device, then you need to be ready to have these throwing stars chunked at you during the mega.
I can confirm that was mentioned. I can confirm that I am fond of throwing stars in different ways.
There you go.
But I got to say, why wouldn't somebody volunteer to get this cool coin? That's the only way you can get it.
It's the only way you can
such an
get
epic cache.
You survived as a volunteer. Well, let's hope you survive. I mean, it is a crazy cache.
Yeah, Tom said you'll survive, but yeah.
Yeah. You never know.
Well, and I can tell you from having custom coins made that we didn't say anything about at CoinFest and gave those out to the volunteers. And then people who didn't volunteer saw them and were like, "Hey, how do I get one? How do I get one?" And I was like, I made 40 of them. That was it. That's all I minted. I hand stamped them. Like, they're totally custom coins. And you can only get them by volunteering at the event. And let me tell you, there were people who were offering people who volunteered like big dollars for these coins. So, like, I'm just saying, it may be worth it if you, even if you're not a coin collector, show up, volunteer, donate some of your time, obviously for a good cause. You at least now up front that you're going to get something in return for this.
Absolutely.
That you then may be able to sell later down the road.
Exactly.
Somebody who is a big time coin collector who, for whatever reason, couldn't make it to the event.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a great coin, but it's also a bribe and a threat. We're just going to make sure we're clear.
Yes. Yeah. It's a combo of we're bribing with the coin or we're threatening you if you don't sign up. So,
and the truth is, we have to have volunteers or we can't run people through Infernal Device. And you hate to come all that way, be that close, and because it's at a private residence and you cannot have that mobbed. It'll shut it down. You can't have it. You have to have it organized and go through. So to get that many people through, we have to have volunteers or we just can't. The guy would have to shut it down for the whole week. There's no way other than if we can't get volunteers there. So we're begging and pleading for volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and do our first giveaway for those that were sharp and slick enough to show up at the very beginning of the show. And so we're going to start with them because we got a bunch to do. So we're going to, thanks, Julia. We'll put that, the link for sign up. It'll be in the show notes as well in Sign Up Genius. You can find the link on the mega page. So it's right there. It says Infernal Device sign up. So for volunteers. So there's a volunteer link on the mega page. You can see it right there. It's just right there. But we'll put it in the show notes as well. So tonight we've got, again, I got a bunch of coins to give away. And so we're going to do our first one now. And then we're going to start talking about some other things. So let's do that. Let me close this. Okay. Our first question, please answer in the chat room. And it's going to be the date. What was the date of show 1? And if you go hunt for it, you can. But what was the date? And the first person that gives me the answer in the chat room.
Do they need month, day, and year? What do they need for this date?
For this particular one, we want just the day, whatever day that was.
Like day and month.
Month, day. Well, yeah, and they can guess the year because this is the 8th anniversary. So
I got that. Just making sure. I know what format do you need it in because there's a lot of them coming in. Just want to make sure you pick the right one. You can't just say Sunday, K-Blast. By the way,
no, you just did.
I knew it. Sunday is not the right answer.
Sunday in June,
but it is the right answer.
Sunday in June.
That ain't gonna fly. Sorry,
that is
buddy.
an answer.
That ain't gonna fly. No, people are guessing, but it's not quite yet. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
there it is.
Yep, came through.
We got it. It was Sherry, right? Sherry guessed it.
Oh, man, I thought I was close.
Close. June 12th. No, August, Direwolf. How is it an anniversary if it's August? Okay, I'm not even getting into it. I'm ignoring. Can we block Direwolf from all this? No, I'm kidding. So, all right. Thank you, Sherry. I'm making a note. You're one of the winners tonight. And we'll do some other type of, we'll spin the wheel later and get some winners that way as well. So, all right. She's the first winner. Okay. So I want to show the little video. I'm switching gears again for brand. And then we'll kind of get into the start of Geocache Talk. And I always laugh at this every time I watch it, and hopefully you guys laugh along with me. So here we go, the beginning of show number 1. Here we go,
and we're live. So there we go.
So start.
And we're just going to start. And eventually someone will view.
Yeah.
I know Susan will view here in a minute.
Start, Gary.
Anyway. All right.
Look at those graphics.
Did y'all notice the TB code? Did y'all notice the TB code on the on the old school?
The whiteboard.
Yeah.
I almost expected a chalkboard behind Gary. Black and white, to tell you the truth.
Let me write this on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was real high tech, wasn't it?
So do you realize how long ago that actually is? If you think about it, like everything that's happened since then. My daughter is going into her senior year of high school this year. She was 9 when we started.
Funny you should mention that, because that's my next
long time ago.
That's my next video. So let me show that one.
We did. I want to break in a special guest here.
Okay.
Somebody who just walked in. My mom.
Hey.
Here's Miley. Miley, it's Gary, you know. Come on, Hallie. No, look, this is a special. They knew what I was doing here, so they made. Oh, I'm trying not to drop it here.
Oh!
It's my birthday tomorrow, so they showed up and with a birthday cake.
Yay! Hallie,
but they're all cachers as well, so that counts. My mom caches too, and
awesome. Hallie, put your face in here.
Oh my gosh!
Look how
young a girl can drive and is already picking out colleges. That is messed up.
Yeah.
She didn't even have all of her teeth at that point. It was like she was missing teeth, I think, in that video. And whoever said, who was it? Direwolf said something about I had less gray in my hair. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate that. No, it wasn't his. It's not his birthday now, Brian. That was a different show.
It was the day before my birthday, so I'll take it. Thank you. I'll take it. Happy birthday.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate you with your less gray.
I've had at least 15 birthdays since then. So
yeah, he wanted to make sure and note that it wasn't. I'll sick Jesse on you. He'll fight for me.
Gary's hair was less gray. Oh, okay. That's a good observation then. I appreciate that one.
Oh, come on.
Just saying.
Kids were so young.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, they were so young,
I don't know, but Jesse needs to get a bag of those volunteer coins. He could sell them and help pay for the kids' college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays you need it.
Yeah, exactly. So so started the show 8 years ago, and it was right before Woodstock in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that is on the audio side, I did an audio show only. When I went up there, is I was standing in line at what was that place that you had the early package
up? Yeah, that was right around the time where I decided I would never be involved with megas again. We had an early packet pickup at a restaurant, and like 200 people did a will attend, and like 3,000 people showed up.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah. And then complained that there was a long line.
Yes, and yes.
I was like, okay, this is not working. But yes, that was so we're in a line outside, and part of my job was just to go and talk to people and make them happy while they're in line. And then you were going around talking to people at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I did was I left Susan in the line, and then I was like, I'll be back. And I walked around the lines, as y'all can imagine, the line went out the back of the restaurant over to a spot, and then the line snaked around, then back through the restaurant, around around the tables, strung through there, and around to the front, and all the way out the front door. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I was I was just there having fun. I saw it more as a big party, and so I grabbed Jesse and Christy and interviewed them, and that ended up being one of the audio shows. But yeah, that was the early beginnings. And somebody mentioned Cache and Release. Old Ravenclaw Tia, she's a great gal, and she remembers the days of Cache and Release. Yeah, she remembers when
that was really the precursor to Geocache Talk.
It was, yeah. Cache and Release was fun, and it ended sort of abruptly, and I kind of decided at that point that I was gonna do my own thing, and had sort of an odd ending. It was I don't know. It went about 24 episodes and then stopped, and I was like, I'm gonna keep going. So I started contacting people, and what's funny is that I think I know that Charles, Tom, and Emily, well, Sean too, I think for the most part, we're all guests on Geocache Talk, but then it was like I want them to be on more, and so that's why all that kind of worked out. And John's got some stats we're going to talk about in a little bit, but
I got to take up for everybody else first, because I'm pretty sure they were suckered in just like me. When
yes,
you're like, hey, let's try this out.
Yes.
Not like let's do this for a decade.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? Let's see what happens. Like, I never thought I was signing my life away, but I'll pay you nothing forever. It's great. This is a good deal. Let's do this.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Never did I have any idea.
And just to be clear, the way Jesse explained to me tonight was kind of like this was like the Tom Brady roast with Gary. I don't know if that was just me or
just you.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Well,
yeah,
and
Charles,
also, Jesse, you're 100% spot on, because when Gary contacted me, he's like, "Hey, so do you want to do a show, based on helping solve puzzles?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can do a show about that." And then I went and talked to my wife about it. I was like, "Yeah, I think we're gonna do a show on one of these Sundays about this Gary." She goes, "Is it just one show, or is this gonna be like a continual?" And I was like,
I better ask.
He didn't say. And so I wrote back and was like, "Hey, so is this
like
a
Tom
standalone thing, or?"
No,
and he
it's
was
permanent.
like, "Oh no, yeah, it's gonna be you and Tom, and it'll be great." And then I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
Well, let me think about this before I got back to him." But it was initially it was just a, "Hey, you want to do a show?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I can do a show. I've done a show before. I've been on. This is no big deal."
In fairness, you agreed to it. You didn't ask additional questions.
Absolutely.
That was great.
I did shoot the hole in my own canoe. I did.
That is true.
That's a good way to put it. But it worked out, and we'll talk further down about more that we're kind of going in semi-chronological order here. So we're going to talk about a couple other items, and we'll get into the other shows too, because they really boosted the whole network. We'll talk about that in a minute. But one of the things that Jesse was on that one I just showed, that was show 18, and he got roped in a little later on. Him and Sydney got sort of brought in, and I've got a snippet of an episode that I wanted to talk about next, which was there was during that time when we kind of got started, the first 50 shows of it. I had worked with the director for Treasure. If y'all remember, that's about the time that Treasure the movie came out, and working with Chris Williamson, it really worked out great. And I want to mention, because I hope everybody's seen the movie. I mean, if you haven't seen it,
Oh yeah,
we'll see it. I've got a little snippet of it tonight, but if you haven't seen it, some night go check it out because it's a really fun movie. It's a geocaching movie. There's not a lot of them out there, so but working with Chris was great for us. I think we really brought in a lot of folks, and we were able to interview some of the actors that were in it. So I've got a couple that I want to show you guys, and I put together one little montage for a scene with Shanice. So let's roll that one.
Why are we looking for this thing? And what is it that we're looking for exactly? It's a geocache. It's kind of like a treasure hunt. There's bugs out here. Okay, we're here. Look for a container. It could be in a tree or under anything. So just look. Kind of boring. Not boring. Keep looking. What are you doing? Cash in, trash out. Ooh, there's a frog! He's not hurting you. Keep looking. I'm good. Thanks. I found it! It's a microcache. That's what we came out here for? What is it? It's a really little geocache. They can be really difficult to find. And all that's in it is that piece of paper. The fun is in the hunt, I guess. I'm tired and sweaty. Can we go? I mean, sure, it's not like I want to show you this really awesome thing that I've started doing. Great. Awesome. Can we go now? Yes, Pumpkin, let's go.
As far as what we were doing for the show. And so one of the first things I asked Shanice was about her character, Sierra. And I said, Sierra's kind of, how'd you put it about Sierra? You said,
I said she's such a priss.
Right, she is.
She is.
So
it's like the perfect way to describe her.
So here's the scene, and this is the one people are talking about in the chat room too. But
oh, really? That's funny.
Yes, so there you are with Ansley, Erica, and going geocaching, and so you really did play this really well, I think, because you're kind of interested. I mean, it's your friend. You look at you get the nod, All right,
I'll play this game with you.
Sort of.
Sorta.
She does a little sea-towing. What are you doing? Cash in. And you're like, I love the look on your face.
Trash in. What is it? Trash in, cash out?
Cash in, trash out.
Cash in, trash out.
Right. The frog. Everybody loves the frog. People.
I know, especially because it's like this tiny little baby frog, too. She like freaked out about.
She's into it, and you're not doing any help. You're not helping at all. She just get her phone out to check the cords, and you're like, come on. Oh, see, you could have been looking for this.
Don't we have better things to do?
What are we doing?
What is that? It's so tiny. What is that tiny thing?
What's great about it, too, is you're not dressed for geocaching at all.
Not at all. Not even close.
You have like these big earrings on and these like
I know
boots.
And what's funny is how unbelievably accurate that is. If people have taken other people out geocaching, that's very, very accurate.
Hey, she wore camo. The mini skirt is camo.
There you go. So
that was a long time ago.
That was, wasn't it?
But it was fun, and guess what? It still holds up as accurate. We all have felt that pain of taking somebody, and we're like really excited to show them, and they're like, "This sucks. This is when are we done? I'm not picking up trash," and it still holds true today.
Yeah, it was fun too because there came a point. Oh gosh, I think I've mentioned this before. It's about what was that? It was probably 8 months, 7 months. I think it was about 7 months in, and I had done the show. It was just me and a guest every time, and it got to a point where it was like, I think I need a co-host. And so and it just kind of came together that both Sydney and Jesse came on, and Sydney was with us for a little while, and Jesse, of course, would never leave, so he's still here today. So
she negotiated a shorter contract than I did.
Apparently. She just flat out said, I'm done. And we're like, thank you, Sydney, for being with us. She was good. But it was fun. We actually interviewed like all the main characters. So, I mean, that was just great for, I thought for us. I've got one other short one, and then we'll move on to other topics. But here's the one we did with Ansley.
Sure. So I signed in and told who it was doing the sign in to now is our producer, Chelsea. Hey, I have a flight I have to catch. I emailed you guys ahead of time. And she said, did we give you a time slot? And I said, just between these times. And she said, okay, you can go in next.
Wow.
And I was like, what? I'm holding the audition slides. Right. I haven't even read the lines yet. You can go in next. And I thought like, oh, okay, the next person might've just gone in. I'll have plenty of time. I turned around, the person walks out and Chelsea was like, Emily, like, can you, and I was like, oh my God. There's literally, this is going to be like singing the national anthem all over again. I'm about to just like, this is going to be awful. And I went in and just let it go and just did it. And thank goodness I could pronounce all the words that they had written on that page. I didn't have to Google what anything meant. So like that was good. And then went to the airport and got on a plane. And the woman I was sitting next to, I like told her about it and was like, I really want this movie. And then when I got back, it was like a couple days later, Chris called me and was like, we'd like to offer you the role. And I was like, oh, I will never do that again for an audition.
Awesome. So, hey, Tim. Glad you
Hey. The most fun about that movie, not just interviewing the people, was we got to see, and I don't know how many other people did. I know Gary and I were there. We got to see it at a movie theater and watch people watch it for the first time, and then at the drive-in in Texas. That was awesome. That was just like one of the coolest things we've gotten to do. Well, there's a lot of them, but that was up there in the list of the coolest things we've got to do because of this show. Is get to see people see the movie and watch them watch it. That was a lot of fun.
No, absolutely. You know that somebody else mentioned that they were at the showing of it in Tyler. We were in Tyler. Yeah, we were at the drive-in in Tyler, and they showed it. And I didn't know that. I just was watching. We just watched the movie, and we talked, and we were walking around talking to people, and the credits are rolling. And they showed, we were in the credits, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was the weirdest thing. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, surreal moment. One of those weird things on this giant screen, at a drive-in, and there goes that. So, yeah. So Houston, Texas, he says that, Tyler, Texas, driving. It was fun. So that was a good start. So, let's do another giveaway, and then we'll move on. So if folks that are jumping on now want to get into this particular one, you'll want to put in a GTN as John did. You'll do a hashtag GTN to be eligible, and we're going to do a wheel spin here. So let me get the wheel up, and we will get that done. So let's do a present, share screen, and let's do that. All right, cool. What are you doing, Charles?
We're so professional after all these years.
Charles excited. All right, here we go. So everybody did your hashtag GTNs. Thank you. Hashtag GTN. We'll wait a moment for people to
quick get them in if you don't have them in.
Yep, get them in. I'll wait a second. So so Treasure was like you said, it was a lot of fun to be involved. Really kind of gave us some extra credibility, I guess, and we were able to do something that I don't think any other podcast had really done. have access to all the people that were in the movie.
It's neat seeing a different medium enter the geocaching universe, so to speak.
No, absolutely. And
I mean, I know there was a previous movie that nobody ever really watched, but that was the first kind of bigger geocaching movie that ever came out.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were all wonderful to have on. What's funny is if you go back and watch the Shanice one, because she's, she was the Miss Priss person. But what's funny is in real life, Shanice, after we interviewed her, she went and found a geocache in the parking lot. If you remember that. So
yeah, that's right.
Of all the people who we don't know about, how much or how little they've geocached, of all the people that we know went and geocached, she was Shanice, which is so funny because her character was, not on board. So
it only took her movie to become a geocacher. You're saying?
Yeah, I guess it did. So, all right, I'm going to spin the wheel. Here we go.
Let's see what we get.
No whammies. No whammies.
The wheel is spinning. It is doing its spin around. And the winner of the second coin is Static Bird 11.
Whoa, congratulations.
So, wait, what do they get? Did we ever say?
Geocache coin.
Okay.
I got different.
That was
I got some different ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You get to host the next new show. LPP Talk.
Yeah.
If Gary calls,
this is how you get in.
Read the contract.
May the
I've got
force
some
be
people
with you.
Yeah.
So
always read the fine print.
Absolutely. Clapping like that. So we got going, and we're doing shows. Things are going along, and it was 2020. I think we hadn't hit 2020 yet, but we were trying to remember the sequence here. What when do we do CacheCon? I'm trying to find that.
That was 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was COVID.
That was
that was
20.
It was COVID. Yeah.
Wasn't it January 2021?
Yep.
Yeah, and so we had talked about doing this crazy conference kind of thing.
Yeah, that was a gamble.
Yeah, boy. But we were able to pull that off, and let me show the announcement, and then we'll talk more about CacheCon and all that. All we did for that one was kind of crazy. So here's the announcement.
But we'd like to talk about something tonight that we're hoping would be a good positive addition to the community. And I don't know, Gary, Brian, either one of y'all want to take it from here?
I'm happy to talk about it a little bit.
Go for it.
So we'll take a step back and just say that you guys approached us and you said, hey, we've got an idea. Everybody's on lockdown. This game has changed. We have an idea of something that we can do for the community. And we said, okay, what does this look like? What can we do? Do you want me to tell everybody? Are we ready for that?
Yeah, go. Let's do it. So, let's finally give the word. So,
okay.
Derek, I think's got a graphic we're going to bring up too. So go ahead, though. Go ahead, Brian.
So on January 30th, the Geocache Talk Network is putting on something that will be called a Worldwide CacheCon 2021. And it's basically going to be an online geocaching convention. It's not a mega event. It's not a regular event. There's no souvenirs or anything like that, but it's an opportunity for geocachers to get together and there's going to be a digital presentation starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it's going to run 6 p.m. is when sort of the closing ceremony starts. And I don't want to give away too much about the schedule, but it's kind of a full day almost like what you would see on stage at a mega event throughout the course of the day, except that everybody's going to be able to participate from home and tune in. It's a way for us to get that community feeling without being all together. And it's something where, for Geocaching HQ, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to promote it. We're going to try and tell everybody this is open to all geocachers all over the world.
Yep.
Again, Worldwide CacheCon 2021, thanks to the Geocache Talk Network. And I know I'll be participating, and a bunch of other folks will be participating, and hopefully everybody wants to tune in. And it's going to be just one of those things that hasn't exactly been done before, but I know everybody is super excited about it. And these guys are really the ones to be credited with the idea and the execution. And HQ is really just playing a support role.
Yep.
But we're super excited to see it happen.
During Podcast of Hope when we announced that, right?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like, yeah. So that explains why people are making fun of my ugly Christmas sweater. There was a reason for that.
Please tell me, Jesse, you still have that.
And that water bottle. So I guess I don't change much.
Yeah. Do you still have that sweater, Jesse?
In fact, I do. And I drank out of that water bottle today.
So
I hope you
let's just say you could go get that sweater and wear that for the rest of the anniversary show.
I could do that, but it's Florida, so I'm wearing sleeves tonight. That's dressed up enough for me. Leave me alone.
Okay.
No, CacheCon was awesome, but you have to kind of give credit to Brian for that. Like, if you're the leader of an organization and somebody says they want to approach you and do this big thing that's never been done, you can either kind of go, good, have fun with that, or we'll support you. And they had no reason to support us to do that, because that could have flopped and nobody could have cared. And that could have been one of the most embarrassing things we ever done. But they jumped right on board and clearly were supporting us and did all the other stuff. And they had no incentive to do that. So I gotta give him props for that. He's got to protect his organization too, but they jumped, and they have many times. They've jumped right on board with Podcast of Hope and everything else. But if you think back, it went great. And we loved CacheCon, and a lot of people did, and we got great emails over the years. It also could have been stupid, and nobody could have liked it at all, and we could have been made fun of for years. And they jumped right in and we'll get on and we'll advertise. They helped us advertise a lot for it, and made it. They helped make it as big as it was. And I was just thinking about that. They did not have to do that at all.
No, you're exactly right. And shout out to them for being willing to help us with that. And John, you pulled some stats on CacheCon that if you want to mention some of those, we'll.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at our most popular shows, and it's always cool to look back at what's out there. The number one most viewed show on the Geocache Talk Network was Worldwide CacheCon.
Yeah.
And again, that was just such an amazing experience for so many people, especially during that time. And just to think, worldwide, there was 15,000 views of Worldwide CacheCon.
That's crazy. That is
and
crazy.
It truly was worldwide where people were tuning in from.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, yeah, it was.
We had some trackables. We could tell where people were logging in from. And yeah, it was fabulous. And I even remember finding a geocache to the theme of Worldwide CacheCon. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Awesome. People bought into this and were excited by it.
Yeah.
People are still watching it today because we did, we couldn't do, obviously we're skirting rules a lot. We couldn't call it a mega, and he covered that. We couldn't call it a mega, couldn't actually do a souvenir at the time for it. So we did a souvenir. The only way we could do a souvenir is we did a digital thing for people to put a profile that was tied to a trackable that we did. And the trackable just happened to be one that we pulled out of my inventory that I had. I still get logs on that weekly.
Wow.
People are still finding that now and logging that souvenir trackable. I get them at least once a week. I get one. And it's been so many years since we did that. And people are still finding I found this on YouTube. I always read those when it comes through. Found this on YouTube. CacheCon was fun. Wish I'd have seen it live, and it's years later and they're still finding it.
Yeah. That is awesome. Yeah. It a lot of work. I mean, shout out to Derek. Derek unfortunately can't be with us tonight. Chad's going to be on here in a little bit. But yeah, Derek's unfortunate. He's got family stuff he's taking care of tonight. So, but he did so much work because if you remember the way that if y'all remember the format was it wasn't really live. There was a few snippet times that was live, but most of it was just recording, interviews. Emily had her interview, and we took those, if you remember, and so we put them together almost like you would a broadcast, like a TV broadcast, and then we had commercials. We would snip in these little commercials, and we would then have the next show, and we didn't really have any break in that 8 hours or whatever we did, 6 hours, I guess, of, and it was just one after the other, and then at the end we did the whole Travel Bugs concert, that he did at the end,
which was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. And somebody mentioned earlier about how, Bell on the Move mentioned his first introduction to the Travel Bugs music. And so, he was willing to do that. And he just did it, again, he did a lot like a live show, and he just would play he played all these songs. And so, it really came together well. I mean, it really did.
We didn't test any of that crap ahead of time either.
No.
That was the first time we'd done any of that stuff was that night. We had no idea whether that was going to work or not.
And the crazy thing was that I clicked on some of them for Derek. I mean, but all that had to be done prep. But Derek was sitting there just waiting, and then when that one would finish, he'd click on the next one. It was like it's not automated, nothing. It was all manual, done. We just clicked on each one of those and showed them. It was, I mean, it was great. It was so much fun, and I mean, we still have some of those out there too. Let's see if I can find one of the commercials real quick, because it was insane. Man, I can find a real short one. Let's see.
That was the biggest gamble we had taken up to that point too, as well.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I saw?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, this is a little off track. I saw that for Podcast of Hope, our goal was $8,000 that year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's just one other way we've taken bigger and bigger gambles. But
oh gosh, and I know we're going to talk about Podcast of Hope, but while Gary's pulling that up,
we will.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes without saying. We'll all have the same opinion. Podcast of Hope is the best thing we've ever done. I mean, it's the most meaningful thing we've ever done, and we talk about that a lot. So I'm not gonna, and obviously I can talk about that for 6 or 8 hours. But CacheCon was the first big thing we kind of boosted. We had no idea what kind of reach you could do with a small show like we're doing, right, in a small audience and a niche hobby or whatever. There's a lot of people that respond to it, and then that kind of boosted each year. A Podcast of Hope just kept getting bigger and bigger, and it kind of feels like one of those, like, we're riding the train, or the horse and carriage, and the carriage is busted and the horse is just running away, and we're just like, well, we'll just hold on and see what happens after this. So it continues to keep going like that every year. So, but can you complain? We're raising money for St. Jude, so I can't complain about that part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we had talked about that kind of behind the scenes about, hey, this CacheCon may be just a horrible flop. and so just bear with it. We're going to get through it. And if it tanks, then hey, we're just going to sweep it under the rug and act like nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
We're on, and there are cachers in Europe, in Germany, in France, in Spain. We had cachers in the U.S. There were cachers in the middle of the night who woke up in Singapore and Australia and New Zealand to watch from the very beginning. Like, you were like, they because they're a day ahead. They took the day off of work to hang out and do this. And that was kind of surreal, when you're sitting there watching in the hour in, and you're sitting there counting the number of countries of people who have chimed in, and you're in the double digits of because we asked people in the chat room, hey, tell us where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
And you would get just, there was France and Belgium and Germany and Singapore and Australia and New Zealand and just about every state across the U.S., Canada, Mexico. It just and then you're like, this is turning out to be. This is a little bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I hope we can live up to whatever all these people are expecting, because, like Jesse said, we really had no idea truly how well that was going to go.
No, and the only point I got scared, you're talking about, it was getting bigger and bigger. The only point I got scared, and I thought we may have messed up, is when at one of the hours, I don't know when it was, people just started trading trackables. They started posting their trackable videos in there, and then it like blew up, and people. I mean, it was just like, and I was like, oh man, HU's going to shut us down. We violated some rules somewhere, and there's people like it's going to be, because during that time, if you remember back a long time ago, it's not a thing now, but there was big controversy for a while of people like posting other people's trackables.
Yep.
And that was a big thing back then. But people just kept posting trackables like, oh god, we're gonna get shut down, and then it after an hour or two it went away, but people were like just. I don't know how many trackables were posted in the chat room live.
Thousands.
But it was, I was like, yeah, that's the end of our show. We're done. And then eventually it slowed down, but I was like, if anybody catches this, it's going to be just the end. But it was one of those things that was kind of getting away from, and you're like, nothing I can do now. We're just going to have to hang out and see what happens and how this is received.
Right. Well, there's a comment here from Christy that says, we all needed that connection. It was great. And I think it was really good timing. It fed our souls and our hobby.
Oh yeah.
And it was fabulous.
We got many emails in afterwards of people saying that same thing. Like, I just needed a break, and it was fun to laugh and stuff like that. And I gotta, somebody said, when will CacheCon 2 be held? It's been held. We just did it in person. We just moved CacheCon to CacheFest, and it's been in person for the last several years. That's where that came from, really.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to do it online anymore. We can now do it in person, and that's continued on, is going to continue on. So that's kind of, the evolution of where that
part
went
of,
to.
And we took parts of that. Like we had a reviewer panel that me and Jesse interviewed. Like all of us had a role in that. And all we've done now is converted that to the Challenge Talk presentation, the Gadget Academy, the Puzzle Talk presentation that is at our mega event. And so it really, like Jesse said, like it didn't go anywhere. Like it didn't get put on the back burner. It just got put into live action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're living it out now.
Yep. Chad with us now. Thanks, Chad.
Hello.
Howdy.
We're just reminiscing about CacheCon at the moment. So I did find a couple of the old videos. So let me show you the one from Germany.
Dear attendees of the Cacheathon, my name is Daniel and I would like to show you around how geocaching in Germany is like. We Germans are crazy about geocaches. What we do is, for example, we built geocaching phone booths. This whole thing is actually a geocache. Isn't that amazing? I show you another example. We also turn whole shop entries into great and huge geocaching logbooks, like this one. This whole entry, this wall, and this wall is a geocaching logbook where you have to put your GC name with Lego bricks on the wall. And they're inside of this safe.
Yeah, and then here's one from Spain. Adolphus, he's good.
Hola, saludos desde España. Hi, greeting from Spain to the friends of the Worldwide CacheCon 2021. Spain is a country where you can find mountains, beaches, and a great cultural wealth due to the pacing of the centuries and the number of civilizations that have passed through here. My home is in Extremadura, a beautiful region in the west of Spain, near Porto.
I don't know.
I almost forgot about that map. That map was awesome. I loved that.
Yeah. Charles, you found some caches in Spain, didn't you?
I have found some caches in Spain and in Portugal. This last year we took a cruise, so we we didn't even realize it, but it was at the time Carnival Cruise Line's brand newest ship, and it was their maiden voyage. But we flew over to London, and then took a bus down to the port, got on and went through the English Channel, the Bay of Biscayne, and then had a couple of stops in mainland Spain, stopped in Madeira, which is a island chain off the coast of Africa owned by Portugal. We stopped in another island chain that was owned by Spain, and then did like 12 sea days across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in Miami.
Yeah,
absolutely
crazy.
It was an amazing trip, but the geocaching in those countries, just like geocaching in other countries around the world, it took you a few minutes. Like the hint maybe, for Jesse, right? It's typical Florida hide. Well, they said that the same thing for the caches in Spain. And I was like, well,
what does that mean?
This is my first one, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at here,
Yeah.
And so, but once you found a couple, then you're like, aha, so this is kind of the hiding style. But super fun to, see some of these people who had, posted up in regions and were part of CacheCon with us, and then be able to go and visit their countries and see what geocaching really is like in those countries is truly a blessing. And I highly encourage you, if you have a passport, use that thing, get out of the country, go places, see things, do the thing, and don't, if you got the time and ability now, do it now. Don't wait. Go. Have fun. Run with it.
One thing that's really cool about geocaching, and all of us live in the US, but not everybody listening lives in the US. And it's hard to, or it's easy to forget that it's not just in your local area. It's fun to remember, like, oh yeah, this is a worldwide game, and we have connections with people all over the world just because of this game. And it's so easy. Anywhere you go, whether it's Spain or whether it's any of these other places we mentioned, if you meet a geocacher in any other country, you instantly have a friend.
Yeah,
you have somebody to connect with just like that. And you can talk all day to a geocacher from anywhere, and you're going to instantly have a friend. So Worldwide CacheCon is one of those things that helps you remember, like, anywhere you go, we can play this game. It's not like a game we can only play locally, wherever your locally is, right? You can go anywhere. Yeah. You've got instant people to hang out with or jump in a car with and do stuff all over the world, and everybody's just playing that same game.
Yep. So we're going to do another giveaway in a second, but I want to give people a moment to put in hashtag GTN if you haven't. If you've done it once, you don't have to do it again.
Or
so
you
that's
can.
fine.
Okay.
You can if you want, but it doesn't matter. You only get one entry. But yeah, if you haven't done it yet, if you just joined, please put in a hashtag GTN and you might win a coin here in a moment. But one of the things I want to mention as far as when we're talking about CacheCon and our international listeners, as well as our local listeners, but for the international, I did some searching before this anniversary show, and I found some, I think they're kind of interesting stats, pardon me, and I'm going to read you guys the top countries that listen to the Geocache Talk Network. So obviously United States is obviously, we're a US based show for the most part, so that makes sense. Some of these are interesting though. I'll get y'all's opinion on some of these, but number 2 is Australia. So shout out to all of our Australian, our Aussie listeners. 3 is Canada. So thank you, Canada. 4 is UK.
All English speaking so far.
Yeah.
Here's interesting. Here's where it gets to be kind of an interesting. Those are all fabulous. We love you guys. We love all our audio listeners all over the world, because we have people in some. There was some crazy countries listed. It's like, thank you so much, Kyrgyzstan and all this. But next one is Denmark. Denmark is number 5.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. And number 6 is Germany. So obviously, a lot of Germans geocache. So next was Sweden. I like that.
I do too. I would not have guessed if you would have quizzed us on this. We probably would have gotten these wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that some of them are. I mean, the next one, New Zealand. I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Then Ireland is next. Then Switzerland.
Okay.
And these aren't per capita. I mean, these are some of these small
numbers.
some of these small countries we have a exponentially amount of people. Next was Norway. So that's cool. And then Spain. And then Netherlands. That's where I kind of stopped for that. But it goes on. There was, the list continues, but I thought that was neat. I mean, we really have
really neat. I would love to hear from more of those listeners. On Challenge Talk, we want to hear about your challenge finds.
Yes.
And one thing I love about that is how it inspires others to hide a challenge cache and put their own twist on it. I would love to hear what challenges are actually like in these other countries. So send them our way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a quiz question for Gary. And you didn't prep for this one because I didn't tell you ahead of time. So how many of those countries, those top 10, that was 10, right?
13, but yeah, go ahead.
13. Okay, that's close enough. USA doesn't count.
They don't count.
Obviously, USA number one. Woo! But that's not the point. How many of those countries have we had cachers on that live in those countries?
Oh my, good question.
As guests?
That is a good question.
A lot of
Australia.
obviously.
We had Australia because we had on
Germany, obviously, Canada,
obviously, UK. We had
UK.
We've had Owen.
Yeah.
Owen
what about
You'll call too?
We've had shows with folks in Germany.
I don't know about Switzerland and the Netherlands. That's the two that kind of stumped me.
Yeah, I don't think we have. The Mad Finn, I've had him on audio before, so he's in Finland, which it was on the list, but wasn't in the top 13. But
he's going to have to do better about telling people about our show over there. Then
I guess apparently, but yeah, quite a few. We try, and when we can, we've had on several international guests. It's
like Spain. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always tricky. Yeah. We had our friend that's in Pakistan was on recently. The timing, of course, is always for him. He was willing to come on at 6 a.m. in the morning, his time.
Crazy.
To be on 8 o'clock on Sunday. He's like 6 a.m. in Pakistan. So, it's timing is always a little tricky. Singapore, we've had folks on from Singapore, but we've done shows too. If you remember way back in the day, we would do like a 3 o'clock show and get people on that way. But so some crazy stuff there. So all right, so hopefully everybody put in their GTN. Let me get the wheel back up and let's get another coin giveaway. And then we'll move on to we'll do another all right. So I'm gonna hit the button again. So let me go to draw again. Everybody ready? Let me bring this up.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna push the button now. That was our first winner.
Yeah. You don't get to win again.
No.
Yeah. Pam was her second winner.
Here So Sherry won the first. Static Bird was second. Here comes the third. So here we go. Next winner is. It's spinning. Amy.
Oh,
congratulations.
Shout out to Gilby, North Dakota.
Oh gosh. Which we were going to eventually do a live show.
We've had our Gilby folks on.
Yeah, we've had Gilby on, but we haven't been live from there.
We need to.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
No, we need to do live from Gilby. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So, all right, there's another one. All right, so let's switch gears. And it was there was a point. I don't remember. Jesse, do you remember when we decided that it would be cool to add shows? Was there, or did we even have a plan? Act
No,
like we had a
come on,
plan.
we don't have a plan.
Plan? We don't even have a plan now.
We have a plan now. No, we
wing
didn't.
it and see who we can sucker in. You know how that works.
Yeah.
Well, there was kind of there was a lull and downtime and post COVID and all this other stuff. We were kind of, around that COVID time, we were looking for more content and people were needing to be able to do stuff and weird ideas. So here's what people don't know. That was an idea that worked. Expanding the show and adding different shows on, that worked out well. Challenge Talk, Puzzle Talk, that all worked out great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that never made it to light, and we won't even be able to get into all those tonight, but there was a lot of ideas that we workshopped that were terrible, but it was one of those, against the wall and see what happens. This just happens to be one that worked, and it expanded, and we had shows, and you found out how people were really into, I use Challenge Talk because that's one of the things that I love so much, but you realize how, geocaching is one of those things where, and I always bring this example up, but if you can come up with the most obscure part of geocaching, there's somebody that is psycho about that part. Go to Project DC and look at the weirdest stats you can find. I always use this as an example, but no matter what stats you pull up, you pull up the most photos uploaded to caches or whatever. There's some stat like that out there. I guarantee you that first person and the second person knows who they are. Mm-hmm. They know because they're competing for that one stat, no matter what it is. So bring that back around, we talk about, we've done it before. We still haven't had the show, but waymarking. There's some people that are intense about that part of the game.
Absolutely.
We still haven't had that show yet, which we're going to do. We keep teasing it, but we're going to do it. Challenges is the one I was bringing it all back around to. We expanded to a different show, puzzles and gadgets, and people that are into challenges are deep into challenges, and they love it, and that's their game. And we found that out a lot when we started adding the extra shows and expanding the network, not just because it added extra personalities and stuff like that, which is awesome and super grateful for that part, but because people could find what they like. Geocache Talk is a general geocaching show. We have people on, we talk. Gary plans everything. I just make crap up as we go, and it's fun. We just do stuff. But Challenge Talk and Puzzle Talk and Gadget, that's a specific niche within a small sport anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And people are into their thing. Now, a lot of people have a lot of things, but they always have that thing that they're really into. So I think that's why that was so much fun to expand. And because then you really found out, even though there's a lot of overlap in all the shows, right? But there's some people that really get into one part of it, and you're like, wow, that's neat. I mean, if we did a waymarking show, there would be people doing that. You know what I mean? You can only do so much, but people, again, I always say this, but that's why geocaching is so much fun. I went out yesterday and I was introducing some people that had played the game for a little bit, and I set up a big thing for that day. I'm like, here's one of every type of cache. We're going to go look at these. And kind of went through it, and it was fun to watch them go, this is okay. Oh, this is cool. This letterbox is awesome. I love this. There's a stamp. You can hand carve stamps and something it's all part of the same game. Yeah. People really get into it. So when we did that, that kind of, it felt like an explosion at the time because we had so many shows so quickly. But
we did.
You really found out what people were into. And I think that was a really fun experiment that made it live. A lot of them didn't, and we'll do that another show. But this one did, and it worked out well.
Yeah. So who remembers what the first show was that we added to the network?
Ooh.
Who remembers? No.
I think it was Caching. He's not here. He's not here.
Derek.
Yeah, it was Caching with Kids.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got us.
Yep.
But, that
was him and I had the discussion to join at the same time over at, it was Going Caching. At the Going Caching event, and was that 2018?
20,
right before COVID.
Yeah. So, and then shortly thereafter, Chad and I started Gadget Talk.
Yep.
So that was the first beginnings.
Don't forget LBC Talk. Because
coming around again.
That one only comes around every few years.
I got to tell you, that was one of my most favorite shows.
Right.
I don't know about you guys, but if like my geocaching blood gets
It was
moving,
fabulous.
LPCs, come on, really.
So some things were failures, and we don't want to talk about the failures. Let's talk about the ones that have been LPC Talk was fun. LPC Talk will be back on April Fools, whenever that is.
I have one run so far, but it'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come back. Which, speaking of, we talked about a gadget talk. Hopefully, we can work out. People want more gadget talk, and it's always a possibility. That's
on me and Derek. Gary and everybody has given us days to come on and Tuesdays and. Trying to find a good time to come on.
Yeah.
I want to keep Derek as a co-host, and he's great at talking, not me, so he's not available on Tuesday.
No, he's great.
I just come up with
change jobs again.
He's good at talking.
Yeah, they're still part of the family. I know people have asked, and so they'll always be part of the family. And so so we'll work that out. But they did a Christmas show, so we're going to do them when we can. But anyway, in case people are wondering. So then right after that, wasn't too long after that, these guys started to do a show. These two guys got Tom's attention.
You're on the big screen now, buddy.
Yeah.
Glad my finger wasn't in my nose or nothing.
Not that time.
What are y'all's memories of the beginnings of that, other than the fact that Charles mentioned you got roped into something you didn't realize? I mean, did y'all what are y'all's thoughts on the beginnings of? Y'all did great, by the way. I was there. As I told them before, it's like, you kick me out whenever you want, but I just love to be there and listen to them and learn. Cause to me, those were good times.
We've had some great times on the show. It's kind of crazy, going to events and people recognize who you are, and you stand there and you're like, I really get this. Like the first couple of times it happened, and I had some individual kind of fanning all over me because
excited.
And my wife, and I can see my wife out the corner of my eye right over there, and I'm
giving you the
just kind of that was kind of I've gotten used to that, but that kind of was a crazy thing in the beginning, and then people coming out and and I love it. I'm sure just like Emily loves people send in challenge ideas, but people will send me links to puzzles that they just can't solve. And I'll look at it and be like, ooh.
Yeah.
Hey,
really.
Tom, can you look at this, Tom?
Yeah, I can look. Can I solve it? No.
He's kind of time for a good looking.
And so we had a good time with it, but I didn't know how long it would, I kind of was told Tom, I was like, well, I'm here till they ask me not to be, and we still, pull out a show, we pulled back from, twice a month to the first Tuesday of the month. And that has worked fabulous for us, and I think it has worked well for the audience that follows us, but it's kind of crazy to, I've sat in and watched some of the other shows and you're like, oh, you notice people's names in those shows that show up regularly because challenge talk is their thing or gadget talk is their thing. we have that same group of people who show up religiously for Puzzle Talk, and that's their thing. And you know, and when you sit there, like, you know, Tom had a puzzle solved from way back in the day, before.
Oh, you don't have to tell this story.
And he's like, man, I got the answer, but I don't remember how I got the answer. We said it on the hey, if you figure out how to do this, hey, send Tom the notes so he can put them in the cache page. And before the next morning, I had a cacher send me the answer and say, hey, this is how you do it. And I sent it to Tom, and he was like, oh, yeah, that looks right. You know, but
I was on the right track. I just couldn't remember the details.
But it has been great. I mean, you know, I remember, you know, even early on, I think we got the shirt going, right? The shirt puzzle.
Oh yeah, the puzzle shirt.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
That thing drove people nuts for right at a year.
Yeah,
yeah.
One of them.
Finally, we got somebody solved it, and we sent them so we had 2 packages. The first person to solve it and actually send a correct answer, if you couldn't actually go to the location, then we would send you a package of things, and we sent that off to Direwolf. He correctly answered came up with a solution.
Right.
But then we had a person actually show up to the location and
oh wow,
out in the middle of nowhere, Panhandle, Texas, and sent pictures to me from Ground Zero, and I was like, that's awesome. I mean, and that was just like the first iteration of the GTN stash, right?
Yeah, it really was.
And so there was GTN stash, and then me and Tom kind of came up with this and hid this thing in the middle of nowhere, Texas, in an old rundown. It was a basketball facility out in the middle of nowhere where rural communities would come together and play away games in this like centrally located old basketball stadium. And the roof had fallen in, and the floors were all rippled, but we got that thing hidden in there. And about a year after we created the shirt, somebody actually solved it and made it. And I still have people, so I'll still wear that shirt. And I still get people who ask me, you know, hey, so how do you solve this? You know, I've had people in Rome, Georgia, take pictures of it because they obviously have a shirt puzzle. Every year, but theirs is way over the top. But I've had people send me, take pictures of it. I've handed them my business card that has my email address and whatnot on it, and a trackable on the back, and then lo and behold, like 4 months later, they'll send me a message, be like, I have been looking at this for hours and I can't make heads or tails of it. So, that was a fun little mini side project that we had.
It was. And that blew my mind because I could never figure that out. And then it turns out they hit it in the town of Texas where my grandfather was born.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow.
How insane is that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then that's where 2 farm to market roads come together.
Yeah, train tracks go through, and that's why he was there.
Mm.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was so much fun. And then not too long after that, we started a little show with Emily and with Jeff back in the day. So
yeah, shout out to Jeff. I don't know how that happened, but I came along and everything was established. So I don't know if it was all Jeff or he collaborated with you guys, but Jeff created so much.
He was great. Yeah.
He was on top of it.
He had so much creativity put into the format that we're still using. So I was just shocked and so excited to be asked to be a part of it. And I remember it just happened so quickly. I was away for the very first show. So I'm like doing it in an unknown environment. If you guys remember, my dad's in the background taking pictures.
He is.
That's right. He was.
That was so cool.
He's walking around back there.
Yeah. So, it was a whirlwind, and it's been a wonderful time. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all have been great, and then Tim didn't miss a beat jumping in and being a part of it. And again, we put them all out. They all kind of came in the same year, and they've all done wonderful. All the shows have been great, and they do really feel, to me, they're perfect because they fill these great. To me, they fill a great podcasting need that really I don't think is really filled anywhere else, and so they've really been perfect, And I don't know, Tim, have you had anybody other than for Challenge Academies? Of course, people are. But have you run anybody in the wild who it goes, oh yeah, I love challenge talk, or are they usually at events?
Oh, absolutely. No, and in fact, Emily and I have this little game that we came up with, and you can see it in our nameplate where,
right,
if you see Emily, it's challenge accepted, and if you see me, it's challenge completed, and we've got just little trinkets. But
that's cool.
I met a cacher today from Canada, Carney Gruel, and he's hidden 500 some challenges out there, and we were talking challenges and on the river today. We were kayaking, and it was so much fun. And we did an event last night, and one of the attendees at the event was like, are you a podcast host? Can I get my picture with you? Like, well, yeah, as far as I know, I'm a podcast host. Sure.
Yeah, of course you.
And I said, do you have a challenge? How do I get a challenge talk item? I said, well, you know how to do that by listening to the show. Yeah. So when she came up, she didn't know what to say. And I'm like, well, you're not really a listener. So another young friend next to us, I said, Geocache, I said, you watch the show all the time, right? He goes, oh, yeah. And I said, so what do you got to say in order to get something? And he goes, challenge accepted. And I said, no, it is accepted, but no, that won't work. And he came up with it. And when he came up with it, I gave him the little trinket thing. And the gal next to me is like, but I said challenge accepted. I said, that's not the right word. And then she came up with again, and I gave her the little treat. And it's a sticker, and it's a card that says we're on Tuesdays at 9:00 and a button. And she put the button right on and took her picture.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, the challenges are so much fun, and I'm with Charles. Woodstock was just incredible because I've now had more and more people saying, "I know you. Why do I know
Where is that?
You?
Yeah.
Where's that from?" And yeah, it's
and you know what? Another angle on things. Like you said, Jesse, people who listen to some of our shows are so into the topic. Non-geocachers will find out I have a podcast, and they're like, let me watch. I'm like, well, be warned. You might not understand anything I'm saying. So I would be happy if you tune in, but, maybe you'll learn something.
Yeah.
That's fun, and it's funny to see, and I've seen people already talk about it here, but we've talked about it before. People that this is the 8 years, yes, and a lot of people tune in every week and have been for years, or some new people, some old people, some people come and go and everything else. But it's funny, I've heard stories of people that have been in the chat room over the years, and then they end up meeting at events somewhere, and they feel like they know each other, just like when we meet them.
I love that part of it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, this is kind of like I've talked to this group of people more consistently than I've talked to some people in my family, right? I don't talk to my family, all of my family, my extended family, on Sunday nights, every night for an hour for 8 years. That's not a thing. Life comes and goes. We've mentioned tonight, we mentioned Sydney, we've mentioned Jeff. We didn't mention Zach yet, but Zach.
Yep. Zach was on.
People have come and gone. They're still part of the Geocaching Talk family, even though they have other life things going on now. It's not like there's any bad stuff going on. They're still our friends. We still get to talk to them and everything else. But it's a big commitment for all of the people here to be doing this for this many years straight. And life and jobs, we talked about earlier, jobs get in the way of, that's important. Life is important. Jobs get in the way of podcasts sometimes. We've changed based on viewers saying we need this to do this. and we've changed based on us. Like for this group of people, one of the things that we committed to in the very beginning was we're geocachers first. And I think that's what's kept us coming back over the years is we've changed schedules and everything else because all of us are still very active in geocaching. And one of the things Gary and I talked about from the very beginning is a real thing in the podcast atmosphere is pod fade, they call it. Yeah. Podcasts, they start and then they fade off. And a lot of that in the geocaching world is because people get focused on podcasting and then they don't keep that fire for geocaching. And I think everybody in this group has kept it over the years through many things. And that's what's helped us come back week after week and connect with the same people week after week is because we're fired up about geocaching. Some of us have our own preferences in it, but we're fired up about geocaching. And we love meeting people out in the community. And we've met people that have been part of the show, that hadn't been part of the show. We've kind of evangelized geocaching. And I think that's what's helped us stay on track over the years is we still, everybody that's here tonight still loves geocaching and still loves discovering something new and getting to a new thing and really enjoying it week after week. And I think it was just maybe a week ago or last month that Emily and I and, somebody else that just got here, I'm not going to mention his name, Erlen, but we just challenged each other. We just live on the air decided to challenge each other. And that's the stuff that keeps it fun over the years, right? And then viewers jumped in on that too. And they're going to call us to task for that in about a month, less than a month.
Yep.
I got 4 squares to go, Jesse. So
do what now?
I have 4 squares to go. So
oh geez.
And then you blacked out the card. Ooh.
Are you going to black out the whole card?
Almost.
Dang.
I need 5.
Almost is not blacking out the card.
I need 5 more caches, and I'm going out Tuesday. I need.
So there you go.
I need 1 cache in 2023, 2 caches in 2017, and 2 caches in 2021, and I'll be done.
Power Trail blacked out too. The whole line of Power Trail.
The whole line of Power Trails all blacked out.
Nice.
You are in trouble, Mr. Memphis.
Emily, I think you and I are putting out some caches. But,
I think we are.
I know that there's one I will not be able to get because I had the flu for like 10 days, but we'll get to that later. But anyway,
we'll continue this conversation.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Things at calendar. So you have 3 months technically, and you only need to get 2, but you may have to get 100 caches in July in order to qualify.
There you go.
Hit that Power Trail. Remember, you asked about a rolling 30 days, and it's not a rolling 30 days. It's a May, June, and July.
I didn't think of July.
So you'll have 6 days.
Oh, you're going down. I'm going to win. You're going down. You shouldn't have said nothing. I thought I was already hosed. It's over.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm going to be
you
out.
shouldn't have told him that.
I don't want to hear it.
Should have told him that. All
And
right.
we do have somebody who has blacked out the card, but you have to tune in Tuesday to learn who has done it already.
Yeah.
Tuesday
All
challenge talk.
Oh, yeah. No, I
advertising.
One funny story before we move on, because we were talking about kind of meeting people in the wild. Did I ever tell the story? And I'll tell it real quick, and I don't want to take up much more time. Somebody told me about Geocache Talk. I was out caching, and somebody told me about the podcast. They introduced me to the podcast.
Apparently, they don't watch very closely.
That sounds awesome. They were audio listener, and I just kind of kept quiet or whatever because we were talking about something to cache.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I was like, that sounds good. I'll check it out. I never told him a thing.
I love it.
That's cool.
Were they like, I love these guys, but this Memphis Mafia character?
Yeah, they were like, that guy's a Jack, you know what? Jack Wagon.
Yeah.
No, it was all complimentary, luckily, but they told me, yeah, there's podcasts and about geocaching. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I have to check that out. That was one of the funniest things we ever come across.
Let's give away a couple coins this time.
Yeah, we got to.
So hashtag GTN. If you haven't done it yet, put in your hashtag GTN. We'll give you a quick second. While I'm pulling that up, John, do you want to provide an interesting stat while I get the wheel back up?
Yes. So we all know we have this YouTube podcast that many people are watching live or sometimes watch recorded, but actually a lot of our views come across on the audio podcasts that are downloaded. including through Podbean. Now we have over 320,000 downloads of all of our podcasts that are out there, believe it or not.
Nice.
Which is pretty crazy. But the number one most downloaded audio podcast, any guesses which that one is?
Most downloaded audio. So
Yeah.
not most watched, but most downloaded audio.
Audio podcast. Any guesses? In chat room, feel free to put in on this one too. No prizes. This is just a pride. But
a fun.
any hosts out there want to guess with the most downloaded
we
audio
get to guess on
podcast?
this now?
We get to guess too, huh?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that it's going to be a show with Tom in it.
It's a puzzle talk show.
No, not a puzzle talk.
I'm going to say one of our space guests, space-related guests.
No,
that would have been a
not
good one.
Space
Very,
guest.
very good guess.
Not a space guest.
Yeah, we had on. We had on Dr. Beagle when we talked about the rover. That was a cool show. I don't want to get. We got so much to do still. So
Yeah, I gotta say on this one, this is a well-known author in a magazine that geocachers like to read, and this is the last clue I'm giving.
Magazine. That's Tom.
That's As I understand it, Tom's been in FTF magazine more than Spartacus has.
Well, I'm gonna say you guys are right. I think on both counts, and the number one most downloaded audio podcast is Show 165, Electric Water Boy, the Puzzler.
Wow. Way to go, Tom.
See my head getting bigger?
Yeah.
Girl, bring the pen. You need to pop my head again.
I was about to say, go get Cheryl and tell her that you're
Oh, that's a great.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right,
That's my co-host. That's my co-host.
That's right. All right, let's do a couple. All right, here we go. Because actually, let's do 3 because we're kind of getting behind time here. So,
okay.
All right, we're gonna give away 3 coins. So, John, are you ready to write these down for me, sir?
Yeah, let's do it, Gary. We need.
All right,
more
here we
winners.
go. Next winner in our coin giveaway tonight. The wheel is spinning for our audio listeners to let you know what the heck we're doing.
Yeah.
And the winner is Judy Vaughn.
Judy is a lucky
She is a very lucky
Geocache Talk Network
She
gal.
is lucky, isn't she?
She is very
She
lucky.
is. This, by the way, is a StreamYard app, so I don't have any control other than pushing the draw again button. So if people want to know, I'm not stopping anything anywhere. I push the button and I can't do anything else. So if everybody will, just to let people know, there's no shenanigans going on. All I can do is push.
It's rigged.
It's not rigged. All right, here we go. Here's the next one. Wheel spinning. I can't do anything. I can't stop it. I can't do anything. The app does all of it, which is great because I don't want to be in the middle of any of that stuff. Strike 2.
That's a cool path tag.
Winner.
Good deal.
That is a cool path tag.
5
You're
winners
Tim.
now.
That's
That
pretty
is a
good
cool
looking
pet tag.
All right, let's do a 6th, and then we're gonna talk about another topic here in a minute. So I got a couple of videos. So we're going long tonight. It's the 8th anniversary, and the winner of the next one is I saw Tom's name in there. You can't win, Tom. No.
Oh man.
No,
Tom, go.
I am such a nice guy.
No, draw again. Come
Let you
on.
draw again.
Draw again.
I'll let you draw again.
No.
But it has to be a puzzle talk.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. There you go.
There we go.
That's how do you say that? I'm trying to remember.
Soccer kicks.
Soccer kicks. Yeah.
Soccer kicks.
Yeah,
Congratulations
soccer
to
kicks.
Tabitha.
Yeah, soccer kicks. I'm sorry, I drew a blank for a second. Yeah, soccer kicks. You're a winner.
That would be
Good.
my excuse too, Gary.
Good for you. Yeah. That was there was a brain moment there. Was like, I should know that because I've written some of these down. like, and so I don't have to like try to figure it out. So I actually, she's in my patron notes. It's like soccer kicks, and then in parentheses I put soccer kicks. That way I don't have to think about it. All right, so a couple more short little snippet videos I want to show of things that have occurred over this our 8 years, because we've had so many great moments. And so here is another one, and I'm gonna play it, and then I'm gonna explain a little bit about it. So let me play it first.
Gary and Jesse, what's going on? Josh Gates here from Discovery's Expedition Unknown, coming to you from the wilds of my home office. I just wanted to drop by to congratulate you on the 4th anniversary of the Geocache Talk podcast. You know, I once found a geocache myself in France, although admittedly I did find it by accident. My former producer Barsky's a fan, so I know it's got to be a great show. And I just want to say, keep going. Adventure is out there for everyone. And again, congratulations. Bye-bye.
So the funny thing, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Barsky, the Twonky.
The Twonky.
Yes, the Twonky. Yeah. So
I'm not sure who was more excited to meet him meeting me or me meeting him at Woodstock.
So Josh Gates was, this is, you can get these are cameo things, but the cool thing was that I was obviously no direct connection to Josh, but I do to Barsky, and Barsky still has a connection to Josh Gates, just of Discovery Channel, and so I asked through it was like through the grapevine, so I asked Barsky about that, and Josh was he sent a note back to Barsky saying he does a lot of cameos, but he says he genuinely loved that we knew that he had found a geocache, and that we had that connection with him through not only the two things, through Barsky, he used to produce Expedition Unknown, and then also that he found a geocache, which was kind of funny. So it was kind of neat to, even though I don't, it was just a secondhand conversation, but it was still fun to hear from him about that. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Twonky.
Yeah, he just posted that.
He's done 1,000 counties now.
Yeah, either today or sometime in the last couple of days, he just posted that. I was gonna bring it up before he even said it, but 1,000 counties. That's a legit cacher there. That's not a joke.
Yeah,
you found 1,000 counties. You're not joking around.
So that's like 4 times Texas, almost. You're saying?
Yeah.
Oh yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Do Tom or Charles or Tim? Did any of you guys know what your county total is? I have never figured out. I've never thought about looking at the county total.
Oh, mine's way down. I don't do counties.
You don't do counties? Okay. But I know Tom and Charles. I know Charles has done a lot. I don't know what my county total is.
I'm under 600. I know that.
Are you? Okay. I've finished Texas, Oklahoma, Hawaii, of all places. I think those are the 3 states I've done. Charles has done a bunch of states.
The Twonky is slightly ahead of me. I'm at 956 counties.
Dang, you better
go on a road trip.
Wow.
Where do you find that at?
Project GC is the biggest.
Project GC is probably the easiest place, but so I've completed Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Delaware, and I am halfway. I'm more than halfway. I have 4 counties left in Nevada, and then I am over halfway done with Oklahoma, Georgia, and Florida. So we're actually taking
Marcellus.
Yeah, there you go. Marcellus is peeping on you.
Thanks, Marcellus.
We're actually taking a week off after Cache Fest. We're not coming back to home till the Wednesday after, but we plan on completing Oklahoma after Cache Fest while we're in Oklahoma. Yeah.
Awesome. You got to be close on Washington too, aren't you? Or no?
Yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Did you visit
8, 9,
up there?
10. I've got 10 counties left in Washington to get.
Oh, okay. So not bad.
It's
Karen 562. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so there you go. Tom's got 659. Good. We're close.
Wow. I at least beat Emily. I got 362. I looked it up. I had to look it up. But, the only reason I get a county is because there's a cache in it. I don't go looking for counties.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Soccer
not into
Kicks
counties.
has 721. That's good.
Wow.
Good numbers. All right. So we're again switching gears again. We talked a little bit about Podcast of Hope. I've got a couple little videos I want to show about that, and if we can, let's take a few minutes and talk about because that also we started Podcast of Hope the very first year of the podcast. Obviously, the podcast started in June, but the first Podcast of Hope was that December. So, so I want to show a couple of cool little snippets. So let me find the first one that I want to show. Oh yeah, about Jim O'Hare. So we've had on some pretty amazing guests, and I'm gonna show this one. I'll give you a quick snippet of how we even got him on the show. So
main character. Somebody pops in. I mean, you had some great.
And I can tell you that a lot of that is because of Amy Poehler, because Amy really believed that was an ensemble show. That was not the Amy Poehler show.
Right.
That was an ensemble show because Amy doesn't have that. There's some egos out there that make, can be tough. That's not Amy. Amy wanted a funny show with funny people. And so her goal was that we would all shine.
Perfect.
Hey, Jim, before you go, this is Joshua Johnson. I just want to say I met you last month with my son at GalaxyCon, and he said you give the best hugs ever.
Aw,
that's sweet.
That's awesome.
Chris Pratt always said I gave the best hug.
It's true. It's confirmed. And I just want to say to everybody that's watching, Jim is a genuine guy, a big heart. And I just want to thank you to come on this show. It was great meeting you last month, and thanks for being here.
So the real quick story about Jim was, again, I paid a few bucks and got him to come on a cameo. And the crazy thing is that I had asked, it wasn't like a birthday, they'll do them for like birthdays or anniversaries or stuff like that. But of course, mine's a little different. I was asking him, would you do a short cameo for us for Podcast of Hope? We're raising money for St. Jude. And the way that this works is that you send your stuff to Cameo. Cameo contacts the celebrity. The celebrity sends it to Cameo. Cameo sends it to you. So you don't have any actual. You can send, and it's a very tiny text message that you're sending to Cameo. So that's the bad part too. Is it's very short. So you got to be very, very concise in your request because it's very small. But I sent that to Cameo. Cameo sent to them. Jim O'Hare sent me a message directly and said, I want to let you know that I went kind of long because I guess they give them sort of a certain amount of time that they want them to do the video. So the one that he did for us is a little bit over the 2-minute mark or whatever that we showed on the Podcast of Hope. Mm-hmm. But he sent me a note and says, if you need me to redo it, I'll redo it for you. No problem, no charge, but I wanted to go longer because I'm just a big fan of St. Jude and helping the kids. And so I sent him a note back and said, I appreciate it. No, we're good. But I figured, hey, I got a shot. I got his email address. I might as well, I said, if you're available and you would like to come on, here's the link for the show. And so, it's just a fly, it's just you're just throwing,
why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Well,
so I
no
threw
risk,
it out
no
there.
reward.
And we had no idea, again, I do that, I could give you a star-studded list of people I've contacted to have them come on Podcast of Hope. So, and don't get any response. But anyway, so he did. He just popped on. We happened to be in the middle of a show with Cache Canada and Josh, and he just popped on, and we had some problems. If you remember, Jesse, his Bluetooth was on, we couldn't hear him, so he had to turn his car off, and then we could hear him. And so, but it's such a great moment. I mean, just a surreal moment to have on, a pretty big, Hollywood person. I don't know. I love Parks and Rec. So
it was huge for our family because we're big Parks and Rec fans.
Yeah.
So we watched every one of those episodes like 15 times.
Having Jim O'Hare on was great. Yeah. And I'm gonna play go ahead.
Well, I'll see if you're playing it because you're leaving out some big details here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Play what you're gonna play.
Well, I'm moving on to another guest. Did you want to talk about?
Oh
yeah. He was pulling over on the side of the road. He was going to play practice somewhere.
Yeah, he was. He was going to.
And then on the spot, he donated, I think, $500. Right?
Yeah,
he sure did.
No, you're right. You're exactly right, Tom.
It was a real deal to him.
Yeah, that was not just like obviously he's not getting any press from us, right? No, he's a huge megastar. We're nobody. And he donated right after that. And nobody's going to know about that. That's not going to help him in his career. Like, he's huge. But he was legit 100% wanted to donate to St. Jude. He did not have to do any of that junk. And, we're like a small little show, and he's like a famous person. And you can tell when somebody like that is like a legit, true human being and loves St. Jude and wants to do something good. He's not gaining anything out of that. Nothing at all, And he gave more to St. Jude than we paid for the thing in the first place. So it worked out for us great.
Exactly.
But, that's one of those things. And obviously we're a much smaller show at a niche audience, but when somebody takes the time like that to honor St. Jude and help us honor St. Jude, that's just a legit dude right there. I'll be a fan of his forever.
Oh yeah, me too. So another one of those where we, I don't bug Barsky all the time, but every now and then I'll nudge Barsky and I'll say, hey, could you work something out for us? So one podcast to hope we did this.
You did some behind the scenes things sometimes, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, because we screwed up and we didn't care. I mean, we started including, as part of the show, as Mike would tell you, it was probably one of the more successful parts of our show once the whole dirty thing sort of subsided, when we would get things that are less dirty, more interesting people and interesting jobs, of course. But, we were able to feature a lot of the behind the scenes stuff and just as part of the show. It was great.
Right. It was the only reason the show stayed on the air for as long as it did. I mean, honestly, we got through the first season and we had checked most of the dirty jobs boxes that we wanted to do, but we were also, shooting a show in a fairly traditional way. And one of the first big conversations Barsky and I had was, in our industry, they call it breaking the fourth wall. So just the behind the scenes camera that's always rolling. But really, I don't think we broke the fourth wall so much as we ignored it. And if you let that clip really play out, what you would see is the process of us literally cobbling the show together.
So having Mike Rowe on was great. We've had somebody. Yeah, we've had on some great guests for that, and so I'm gonna do one more, and then we're gonna wrap up for the night. But I couldn't not show this one. So I think we've pulled the curtain back on this one before too, Jesse. But we're given a link to things in at St. Jude as far as their branding. They give us a link to their backstage kind of videos that they've approved and use, and they let other people who are raising money for St. Jude, they're allowed to use, they want you to use their material. So, so this one always gets me, so I'm going to show it.
Chemotherapy treatment can take months, even years to complete. To a child, 2 years can feel like forever. So when patients at St. Jude finish chemotherapy, we celebrate with a no more chemo party.
1, 2, 3. Our patients have the cutest SMILEs. Our patients have the sweetest HEARTs. Oh, we love to see you every day. But now's the time you get to say, pack up your bags, get out the door. You don't get chemo anymore.
So the cool thing is that we've been able to obviously raise a lot of money. In case people are wondering, it's over $70,000 now. Over the years. So that's been a blessing, I think, for St. Jude. And it's just they've really they don't really have a lot. I mean, most of their money is raised through other fundraisers that aren't podcasts. I mean, we're kind of they obviously love to have us. They didn't really have a place for us for a while, and so in fact we're still in with the gamers. So because there's people that will raise money. They'll play. They'll do the video games, and they'll raise money during a gaming type session where people watching other people play games. I always think it's crazy, but that's for another show. But they have obviously their traditional, 5K runs or, golf tournaments. And Jesse, your wife used to work there. So, I mean, there's, but they have really embraced this kind of idea. And I don't know if there are others yet. I know we got a note the other day, and I've got behind me too, our fundraising thing. Here, I'll grab it real quick. But let me get it off the wall. All right. So we've been working with Tiltify for years now, and we've got our little banner, and within the banner, it's got we get little. We're supposed to get another pin, by the way, Jesse, to put on our fundraising thing. So Tiltify is sort of their formatted way of doing things, and so it's been really a great thing to be a part of, and they really have come a long way. And what's funny is that it's really come a long way with us too, because if you remember early on, it was kind of like the show, the first show, which we had the whiteboard.
Yeah, we did.
Whiteboard, and we'd write down how much we've raised.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like the old Jerry Lewis thing.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right. That's our version of a telethon, right?
It was our version of it, yeah. So crazy stuff. So, well, let's give away some more, coins, and then we'll go around the room and talk a little bit about maybe what we, any closing thoughts. So, again, hashtag GTN. If you're just now joining us as we sort of get to the end there, but let me bring up the wheel, and let's get some more wheel spinning going.
If anybody has not put in hashtag GTN into the chat, go ahead and do that now. We have less entries than we have people watching live, so I want to make sure everybody gets a chance.
Yeah, everybody get a chance. And
while they're doing that and you're pulling up that wheel, I'll go ahead and give you my closing question that we can go around with.
That sounds good.
Have a chance to think about it, right? So my closing question is, what do you want to see in the future of Geocache Talk Network? Now let everybody think about that kind of as we kind of go through. And I'll even start first when we get done doing because I've got an idea of it. But so I don't put everybody on the spot, which is one of my favorite things to do, but I won't do it tonight. What do you want to see in the future of Geocache Talk Network? And then we'll go to the giveaway.
All right, cool. You want all of us to answer too, or no? You just talking about people?
No, I want everybody to answer. That's as your part of your final closing thoughts.
Oh, okay.
I'm obviously going to put you on the spot, but I'm being nice and giving you a few seconds to think as we do the giveaway.
Give you some minutes while we do. Okay, so let's give away our. So, we have 4 more to go, John.
We've had 6 winners so far, Gary.
Okay, so we need to do 2 more. So we're doing 8. 8 for the 8th anniversary. So we got 2 more to go. So let's do the 2, and then we'll do closing thoughts, and we'll all have to answer Jesse's crazy question he asked us.
That's right. Quiz. Haha.
All right, here we go. So let me bring up the. There we go. And I'm going to hit the draw button. Here we go. Push the button. We're just waiting. It's spinning. Spinning. There it is. Family.
Congratulations, Steve.
They're winners. Way to go. All right. We got
Do the winners know
one
how to
more,
claim
and then
their
I need to
prizes,
explain.
Gary?
Yes, I'm going to explain.
Okay.
Because I also have an audio. We're going to have an audio winner. So yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
tell people how they can do it. You're right. Thank you though, sir. Because I have we're going to do one question that you don't want to answer tonight, but you want to answer in an email. So because we won't give that one away till next week because we want everybody to get a chance on the audio side of things. So all right, here's next one for tonight. The wheel's spinning. It's spinning for the audio listeners to know what we're doing.
Pathfinder 33. Oh.
Ravenclaw. Congratulations.
Pathfinder. Nope. Ravenclaw. Tia. She's been with us really since back in the, like she said, back in the cache and release days. The old,
the early days.
Old podcast. Yeah, the real early days. So, all right. So, I don't know who does anybody want to go first?
She had an event yesterday. I was going to go to.
This guy.
Oh my.
This guy. I got my hand up before Charles. Call me.
Pick one of those guys over there.
Over there. All right. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Charles. I think you said did you say there's
No. Pizza Ninja beat me to it. Let him go first.
Okay.
I was just quicker this time.
I don't know if he can follow up what I have to say.
Oh man! The gauntlet has been issued, Carl.
Wow!
The gauntlet has been issued.
Shots fired.
My thing, what I have to say, and I appreciate Jesse asking this, and as we were talking about the podcast of hope, as we were talking about all these are things that we've all accomplished as a geocaching community, and I think that's pretty awesome. We all know fellow geocachers are just such incredible people, but I mean, raising that kind of money is great. Let's raise the bar even more this coming year and help out St. Jude even more. I think that would be awesome. Let's keep on talking about all those great things that geocachers are doing and how we're playing the game. One of my goals for this coming year, if you look at everybody on the show, I've co-hosted a show with everybody on here except for one person. I've co-hosted with Chad, Gadget Talk, co-hosted with Tim, Challenge Talk.
Yep.
Co-hosted with Charles on Geocache Talk.
Yep.
Co-hosted with Tom on Puzzle Talk. Co-hosted with Jesse on Geocache Talk and Deep Dive. Co-hosted with Gary on Geocache Talk and Deep Dive. I'm looking forward to co-hosting a show with Emily. I've never co-hosted a show.
I would love that. I
so
would
looking
love
forward
that.
to that.
I really appreciate when you stepped in really short notice for me this year, and but it meant I missed co-hosting with you. So we really need to make that happen.
I was happy to do that, and if it's Pizza Talk or Challenge Talk or some other talk, I'm just so happy to do that.
I can do a
You're
pizza
just open
talk.
to it. All right.
Yeah, I think so. In those who don't know behind the scenes kind of look, every time I have pizza, I send Gary a message of pizza. Chad too, usually Charles. Jesse doesn't really reply to my pizza texts or messages, which is I still love you, maybe in a different way, but I still love you. Just saying.
I'm not good at social media as you are. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But I'm just saying, Pizza Talk, Or challenge pizza. Challenge pizza
Challenge pizza talk.
Oh man, I love that.
Pizza Wall of Fame talk or something.
Pizza challenge.
I tell you, the best pizza I had was, and I sent Pizza Ninja a picture of it in the recipe. It's mashed potatoes. Was it garlic mashed potatoes? It was a whole bunch of stuff you wouldn't think would be good on a pizza, and it was probably my favorite pizza I've ever had. I'll have to see if I can find it. But there's a pizza place by me that has a pizza of the month that is just random stuff, and it's delicious. I have to try it every time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Wow.
So,
all right, Charles. Don't you know how to steal a man's thunder right there? Like you and me must have been like on the same wavelength, because I will tell you that one of my favorite things that I have done so far, and I talked to Chad and those guys when we did it, was that I really enjoyed the little crossover show that we had between puzzle talk and gadget talk. I really like that. And I think that there's room for us to do some more collaborations between the shows within the network. And so, like you were saying, I am looking forward to trying to figure out how to cross puzzle talk into challenge talk so that I can do a show with, with Emily and old Merlin sitting over there and whatnot, and I have enjoyed when you have stepped in and been a co-host for the show, or when you and I have gotten to work together. I've done plenty of shows with Gary and Jesse, but I would like to see us do some more in-house collaboration, crossover style shows because sometimes there are parts of this that can co-mingle together. And in that, I'd like to see some of us. So, you and I must have been on the same wavelength, because that's exactly where I went when Jesse asked the question, was like, man, if we could have a little more like co-collaboration, crossover shows, whatever you want to call it. And in that, it's dill pickle pizzas. When that happens, is dill pickle pizzas.
Loving this dill pickle pizza talk.
Love it.
That wasn't my answer, but I love it too. I love it.
Yeah. Since mine goes into that vein, I'm going to go next. So, again, thanks to everybody for making the network run. The Geocache Talk Network has been a wonderful part of my life, and all of y'all have been so great. Shout out to Derek, who unfortunately couldn't be on tonight, but all of y'all have been wonderful. And my thought, since Jesse stuck us on the hook, I think what we're gonna do, you like the executive order there that I'm pulling? I can pull.
Now we're ready. What's it going to be?
So what I think would be fun, and maybe we could do it around the Podcast of Hope area time frame, the December month, is we could do a White Elephant podcast where we would randomly pick, sort of like from a hat, who's going to be on, who's going to produce for each of the shows. So who knows what kind of connections we might have. It might be Tom and I doing challenge talk. I mean, who knows what could happen, with Jesse having to do the producing. I don't know. We'll have to,
well, it was a good run for 8 years.
Yeah, no, it did. So much for that.
I don't know. That was my thought. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do a White Elephant thing for that. Or we'll do some sort of swap. Maybe just one person swap, where I leave
so
and
many good
somebody
ideas.
else. Yeah, so that would be funny. But So it was fun putting together tonight. There's so much that has gone on. We really couldn't even fit it in, but 8 years, and it's been it's been a blessing, and it's been great fun. So back to whoever.
Well, I'll go next. I have absolutely loved our community leveling up and accepting the challenge we put out there, whether or not you guys can make it to Cache Fest, to turn in your passports. And so I think it would be fun if we can level this up to something bigger than a Cache Fest challenge, and see what we can put out there for all of you, because you guys are rocking it, and it's really feeding the excitement on what you can accomplish in your own way in your community. And I just want to do that. I want to have that community challenge friendly competition going on.
Cool. I love it. All right.
Well, I'll go next only because I don't want to go last, but I'll stick somebody else with going last. So yeah, I greatly appreciate being part of the network, and I'm still the new guy and will be until we bring in some other show. But
it's true.
It's been great on both sides of the community. I think we have a wonderful audience, and again, thank yous to all of them. And to answer Jesse's question, for me, Gary, when you showed those CacheCon snippets from other parts of the world, we don't know what it's like to cache in New Zealand or Finland. And if you don't travel, you don't know. And so my idea for a show has always been to get the geocache organizations. I mean, we've got 2 Tuesdays in the monthly yet without a show. Bring in one community from around the world, and whether we have to tape it early and replay it, but just learn more about what caching is all about in other parts of the world.
Wow, that's
my
good.
idea.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Jesse gets to go last. So Chad, you're going to have to go. Or Chad or Tom?
It doesn't matter. I'll go. I obviously haven't been on very much lately, with lots of stuff going on in life. But I do want to thank all the listeners that do listen, join the show, get in on the chat and talk to us, and all the fans that we see at events. Without them, we wouldn't have a show, wouldn't have a podcast to do this. So I really want to thank them. Something I'd like to see. I did enjoy the collaboration we did with Puzzle Talk. That's fun. If
that was cool,
I can do something that maybe I don't have to come up with the idea to build something, I'd be up for it. I don't mind building things, but boy, coming up with a new idea every week is tough. So at some point, if we could do another collaboration with another show here, or even another podcast, whatever, I think that would be fun to do.
Very cool. It's been great, and we, like I mentioned, we love when Gadget Talk can be on. So we're looking forward to shows in the future. So so Tom and then Jesse, right? Is that where we're at?
All right.
So
I started caching October 6, 2007. And if you had asked me then, would I still be doing caching now? I don't know. I mean, it was fun, but I don't know. But I certainly wouldn't have thought I would have gotten involved in a huge community of people and done all the things I've been privileged to get to do, and made new family, gone through their struggles, still going through with Dee and David, but I wouldn't even know them if it wasn't for geocaching. So
that's true. Yeah.
It's just, I love the big community of this thing. So so how do I plan that to apply that to the future? I don't know, just more community involvement. I'll let you pick people from the chat room and bring them into the show.
There you go. Perfect.
Fun.
All right, Kendall, you're up.
I don't have an answer. I just thought y'all might. I don't know. Tom kind of touched on mine. It's already been kind of said in the chat room a bit, but like the Geocache Talk community has been around for 8 years now. But the ones of us on the show, we're just kind of the faces of it. But really, it wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the whole community, right? There's been people that have been on more shows than some of us because they're here every week, and sometimes some of us are only here once a month or whatever, right? So it's a very loyal community of people that we've all gotten together. We just happen to have the microphone, but there's kind of a couple ways to put this is I really want to continue to get more involved in the community. And we had a segment many years ago when Zach was on before life changed for him, and it was we kind of called it Man at the Cache. I don't know if we ever did that as much publicly, but that's kind of what we called it, Man at the Cache. I'm hoping that we can do more of that in the future where we get to meet up with, and I mean kind of the face of the show, all of us on the show, get to meet up more with people out in the community, you know, going caching with people and using those segments to introduce people in different areas. We can't travel the world all the time because none of us are rich yet. I hadn't got my first check from Gary yet, but I would really love to see.
Mine's in the mail.
Yeah, kind of two things. One, us kind of bring that segment back in where we're getting to do some more live in the field stuff, and two, I would like to bring on a guest from. Well, first of all, six continents. Let's make it hard. Let's say all 7 continents. But one of those is kind of hard, right? But bring on people from cachers from all 7 continents, and then as many countries as possible. You know, we mentioned the top 10, 13 viewer areas, but I want to bring on somebody from everywhere. I want to really connect with cachers literally from all over the world, every country we can possibly touch. Cool. Because I think this game brings people together more than a lot of things do. And I want to continue to build that community and not just a one-way connection, right? Like not just us talking to them, but I want to have people back on, meet people in the field, do that kind of stuff. Sometimes the funny, you know, doing something live sometimes goes well, sometimes doesn't. Right? And you have people on. However, I think that's geocaching. Geocaching is not always successful. The DNF part, which we never talk about, is a big part of the game. And just like this, I really want to continue to build that community, not just with us and the community, but the community together, and kind of build this as like the family that it's become for a lot of us over the years, and do more stuff in the field, do more stuff live from events, do more stuff like that in the future coming up. So not just people recognizing us, and like I joked about earlier, somebody telling me about our podcast, that was funny, but like those people that don't get to be on the show all the way, so we can't have everybody on the show, but people be able to connect together, like this being a big community, and we'd be able to connect those people together as well in the wild. And whether that's competitions like Emily mentioned, or like Tom bringing people on the show, or any of that stuff, I want to continue to build that community in the future, whatever that looks like. Now, we're obviously also going to come up with crazy, stupid ideas, and some of them will fail and some of them will work, you know, over the years coming up. But that's the big thing I want to push, is be able to bring this community together, whether it's like leaderboards that we didn't get to talk about, or stash hunt, or one of those things. Those have really brought people together, and we've met people out of that we still talk to today from years ago. And that's, I think, the most valuable thing that's come out of this. First of all, outside of Podcast of Hope. Podcast of Hope is always number one for me, and I will re-sign every year just for that. That contract I keep signing with Gary every year, I'm going to re-sign it just for that. But
exactly.
Outside of Podcast of Hope, building this community of people, like I did it just yesterday, or was it yesterday or the day before? I was stuck at a cache, and I immediately had people to reach out to and go, phone a friend. I know tons of people that can go help me solve this puzzle on the spot. It's great. I love that. And I think that's one of the most valuable things that we can ever do, besides providing a service of information, is connecting the community of geocachers together. And I hope we continue to get to do that for years to come.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. All right. So a couple final notes. If you did win a prize tonight, send us your mailing address to geocachetalk@gmail.com, and we will do that. And if you're an audio listener, I have a question for those that are audio. And if you want to send in your answer, again, send it to geocachetalk@gmail.com, and I will pick a winner at random that gets the answer right.
Yeah, so not totally random.
not completely random. You got to give us the right answer. So
me too.
Yeah. So the question is going to be the person who has been on the Geocache Talk network the most as a guest. Not these clowns. Not
Are we supposed to answer that or no?
What's that?
Are we supposed to answer that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, don't answer it.
Now that's for the audio listeners to answer. Send me the answer to that question to geocachetalk@gmail.com. If you get the answer correct, you will be in the running to win one of the coins that we're giving away. And so if you win, I will then send a note back and ask you for your mailing address. So you don't have to send that unless I let you know that you're a winner. So, all right. So Tuesday, challenge talk, right?
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. So next show is Tuesday. What are you guys covering on Tuesday?
If you
we're going to have another conversation. Yeah, with Bloody Cool about building the practicalities of building challenge trails.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody then. And again, thanks everybody for being on tonight. Thank you all. We'll see everybody Tuesday. So
all right.
Let me say good night. Let me find the
good night.
Take care, everybody. I gotta find the little doodad because it's a great doodad. I like our ending.
It's in the other show.
Yeah,
that's for another show. And then we're out.
And we're done.
We push the
button.
Push the button right.
8 years and we're still figuring this out.
Good night.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comments at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.